Hey, remember this thing? Well, it runs. It's not on fire, I swear. I just did an oil change on it, plus I had my greasy hands over just about every inch of it, so there's going to be some crap burning off it for a while. But yeah, it runs. As you can see, there's very little fuel in it though, so we're going to go take care of that. Alright, unknown bike. Be nice to me. Take me back home when we're done. So, this is my first time on a VFR. Years ago, we used to have a little VF 500. It was Tracy's first bike. She got her license on that one. So far, so good. I'm not gonna lie, I was quite terrified that I was gonna put an ECU in this thing and, you know, maybe it would fire up and run, but then still have a ton of issues, ton of problems. That's a scary thought. This thing has a set of drop foot pegs on it too. They're like an inch lower. What a difference that seems to make. Although I don't know how it sits stock, it just feels very low. Alright. I only put like 5 liters of fuel in it. In case something goes wrong, I don't want to have to drain a whole bunch of it out. And if I turn around and sell this thing real quick like I'm supposed to, there's nobody who's putting a whole bunch of fuel in it. Never ends at this fucking traffic circle. It's got that V4 feel to it. It's also got that little flapper mod done to it that most Hondas of this era had. Part of the airbox gets shut down at certain RPMs for noise control, so naturally everybody just disables that and holds it wide open so you get your max airflow into the box. So you get some nice intake noise from it. One thing I'm not crazy about this thing with is the idle is a little bit high. Sometimes it idles at 1500, sometimes it idles at closer to 2. Alright, I guess that was my first taste of VTEC. This bike's been sitting so long, this solenoid probably didn't have much oil in it. So when it activated, it kind of jerked for a second, but it seems to be smoother now. I still don't like it though. I can tell why everybody hated this. It's just more Honda nonsense, man. Honda does such strange things for no reason. It's like we got all this crazy VTEC and link brakes and all this crazy stuff on this bike. You know, even this digital layout for a 2002, that's a lot of digital gauge for a 2002. And then it's got regular forks. It doesn't even have inverted forks. It's like, sorry, we blew the budget on ridiculous brakes and VTEC, so we couldn't give you a decent set of forks. So naturally you think, oh, so these are like the best brakes out there though, right? Since we spent all this money on these brakes, and well, no, not really. They're kind of gimmicky. Let's see how she makes out on the highway. Man, it's so comfortable. Must not get attached. Must sell. I must say though, this whole experience has made me appreciate VFRs a little bit more. Pretty cool bike. If I could get one of these without the link brakes and all that nonsense, that'd be great. Nice and stable, handles well. Tires are nearly new on this thing. I have a feeling this thing must have decent headlights too. It's basically got 4 headlights, 2 low and 2 high. Go check out the coffee spot, see if any of the regulars are there. That little V4 groan. Get some nice little pops out of it too on diesel. gearbox isn't the smoothest thing I've ever shifted, but it's not bad. It's not smooth, but it, you know, it really lets you know when you hit that gear. You feel it go in. It's not vague anyway, we'll give it that. I think it's quite direct too. It's almost like the shift linkage is splined straight to the shift shaft. There's no joints anywhere connecting it. Hydraulic clutch on it too. I don't have a ton of experience with bikes with hydraulic clutches. You'd swear that was some fancy new thing. I don't have anything against them, but it is a added level of complexity to a, you know, basic system. A cable pulling on a lever works just fine. Actually, let's do this. Keep an eye on that temperature gauge. That is one thing I did not do before I left home, was verify that the fan works. I'm really nervous about this temperature now. I really should have paid attention if that fan was working. Naturally, I'll hit every single red light along this road. It's alive! Alright, we're gonna head straight for the highway, get this thing out of town, because I'm pretty convinced that the fan isn't working. I'm not sure what temperature the fan is supposed to engage at on this bike, but I have a feeling that like 105 Celsius should have it turned on. I think it turns on at like 96 on my ZX10. So as long as we're moving, we're alright. I must say I like this bike, but the thought of making some profit on it, on a resale, it's just, you know, it sounds good. I really hear the VTEC. I don't know how useful it is, but it's kind of cool. Sounds cool at the very least. These headlights are on low beam right now. I can't wait to get to a spot where I can try out the high beam. Some very good coverage. My ZX12 had dual headlights for low beam, but it was the same two headlights that also did high beam. They were like a dual filament bulb. These actually have 4 headlights. Everybody checked it out and they were all pretty impressed with the overall condition of it. As am I. It's not bad, really. It's too bad. I think there were models around this age where the bike didn't have ABS. I'm not sure if they all had link brakes or not. It's too bad. I mean, if this thing didn't have the link brake set up and ABS and just all that added complexity, like if I'd have owned this bike from, you know, years ago and been able to take care of it from years ago, maybe things would be different. I wouldn't mind all that stuff because it would have been properly taken care of, whereas I don't know what kind of shape a lot of it is in right now. And I mean, the bike is basically 20 years old with 72,000 kilometers on it, with a pretty well totally unknown history, so it makes me nervous, the thought of keeping it. Maybe that's a good thing though, because like I said, I should be selling it. But it opens my eyes to other bikes like this. There were generations of the VFR 800 that came after this. There was also the 1200 too, which didn't seem to sell very well. I don't know, it didn't do very well. Either way though, it kind of opens my eyes to checking some of them out. It's crazy when the temperature gets down to about 20 degrees and it feels cold out. I guess that's a sign that it's been excessively hot for a while now. I shouldn't be running high beams right now, there's too many people around, but I had to try it. By comparison, I wouldn't even need high beams compared to my other bikes. This would be perfectly fine. I think my 12 had the best headlights you know, previously. I think this one takes top honors now. I know this bike is not exactly designed with the guy who does wheelies in mind, but if you like doing that sort of thing, man, VTEC could be a problem. You know, at 7,000 RPM, it's not a huge rush of power that comes on or anything like that, but certainly enough that would upset you if you were, you know, doing something like riding the balance point on a wheelie or something. Could get a little hairy. I'm not even sure if it's dependent on throttle input at all, or if it's entirely dependent on RPM. It would be nice if it was dependent on some throttle input, you know, you had to be over 50% throttle or something like that to make it work. Anyway, that's the end of this. We'll see if it's the last time we see the VFR.